What is going on? Today we have the 2019 Audi Q3 S-Line. This was redesigned for 2019 and there were some big changes. It is bigger, it is more practical, it drives better, and it's more powerful. We're gonna do a full detailed review and test drive coming right up. The big changes for this 2019 Audi Q3 are the fact that it was redesigned, making it taller, wider, longer, just much more substantial. In our particular model, we have the Prestige package and it's the S-Line, so we get special front and rear bumpers, side sills, badging, and 19-inch wheels. Now starting up front with the features, we've got LED daytime running lights and LED headlights standard, but you get full LEDs on this particular model, even weather lights integrated into the headlights, and these lights do a pretty nice job. I have a night video showing specifically these headlights and how they do at night if you want to check that out. You've also got a nice large octagonal single frame grille from Audi with its vertical chrome slats. It looks pretty good on the front of this vehicle in my opinion. Leave your thoughts below. This color is turbo blue and it's only on S-Line models. It's really vibrant. Honestly, I don't picture this with an Audi, but I think for the Q3 it works. I would prefer something a little bit different, but it's a really vibrant poppy color. Leave your thoughts below. The wheels are going to range from 18 all the way up to available 20-inch wheels, but we have 19-inch 5-spoke twin spoke wheels with 235/50 series tires and vented front and back brakes. You also get folding mirrors on our model with a driver's side auto dimming and blind spot monitoring in there as well. Even high gloss aluminum window surrounds. Plus, this has a redesigned suspension, and we'll go through a test drive later. It is a nice handling vehicle, and there's even 8.3 inches of ground clearance, which is more than there was last time. And coming out the back, we've got a rear roof spoiler, LED taillights, sequential turn signals, which look pretty cool. More on that as well. And overall design of this Audi is contemporary. It is nice looking in my opinion. I think it fits a vehicle of this size, and it looks good with the rest of the Audi SUVs. One convenience feature that we have with the cargo area is a foot activated liftgate, and you'll know you got it because those sequential turn signals are going to go off as long as you have the key fob with you, and you really get some pretty good space back here. You get behind the second row, you get a movable adjustable cargo floor with 23.7 cubic feet, and when you fold those seats down, a 40-20-40 split, you get 48 cubic feet. So really you get a pretty nice big cargo area back here in this Q3, which is an improvement over last generation as well. Now let me give you a quick little first person point of view right here. So a couple nice things about it. To add to the practicality, you get a storage bin on each side. You've got a sturdy hook right here, 12-volt power outlet as well to stash a couple things, maybe charge something back there. You've got a little tie-down hook right there. You've got a 40-20-40 split, which is great if you need to shove some skinny stuff there, or just a little more versatile that way. Maybe a pet's gonna wander up there. Another hook over there, which is nice to see. And on each side, you even get a little hook right there, which could be a good grocery bag hook as well. And then right up above, we have this cargo cover, which you can remove. You've got a couple LED lights up above, and your settings to where you can lock it or close it as well. This really swallows up some stuff pretty easily. And underneath of here, you've got a spare tire, temporary spare tire, plus, see if I can get this on here. We've got a movable cargo floor, which makes it totally flat or deeper on the sides. And it is just fantastic, especially once you fold those seats down. You just can't fold them down from back here. Most of the time in these small vehicles, you've got maybe a little latch right up above that you can pull from the rear cargo area. But with this one, in order to get the seats down, you've actually got to pull this and then it'll go down. So that's a little bit of an inconvenience. I don't want to have to go to the back seat, but small complaint.
Seriously though, I did not expect it to be this spacious in a vehicle this small.
The Plus model and up get this smart key, but it doesn't really look like a smart key. You still have a flip out key on here, and honestly it just looks and feels kind of cheap. Just a small complaint. I don't really care, but some of you might. I wish we also had remote start on here, but you've got a power liftgate at least, which is nice. And the way this works, I like the way that it works. It has this button to lock it, and then you can get your mirrors to fold in. And then I like how it's the sensor behind the door to get in. Plus, you've got these illuminated door sills, which is also pretty nice. Now hopping into the front seats of the Q3, you'll be happy to know that heated leather seats are standard all the way down on the base model. That's not expected in this class, but they give it to you. Our particular model has the S-line seats, which are these sporty seats with contrast stitching, even some Alcantara on them. They've got good bolstering. They've got decent grip around your legs as well. They're just comfortable seats. I could probably sit in these seats for a while and not have any trouble at all. We've got 8-way power adjustment with 4-way power lumbar support, which is really nice to see, up and down and front and back. We even have manual adjustable thigh support for the passenger and the driver as well. One of my favorite things though is the fact that you can adjust these headrests. So you can adjust them forward and backwards instead of just up and down, because I hate headrests that push your head forward. And I love these. These are comfortable. I haven't had any complaints. The steering wheel is manual tilt and telescoping. There's no memory setting. There's no electronic setting here, but you got a playful range of motion. And like I said, no memory seats and no ventilated seats. Something that I would expect at least to be on this price point. Now with the interior of this Audi Q3, we have the Sport Interior Package, which gives us a 3-spoke steering wheel with paddle shifters, S-line sport seats, brushed aluminum trim with a matte inlay. We have the black interior, and it's very driver oriented with the way everything is kind of focused in towards the driver. Plus we have brown and gray natural wood. Now to give you a quick look at this interior, this upper part of the door trim is kind of hard. It's not like a cheap plastic, but it is hard, and I like to rest my elbow up there, and this just isn't the most comfortable. Small complaint, because we have soft materials here of, semi-soft armrest right there. I like this grab handle. I kind of still prefer just your typical door handle where you can even kind of stash something, but it's cool to be able to grab onto that. You've got nice trim, nice metal door handle as well. It feels good. We don't have any memory seats, so we are missing that. And the bottle holder is excellent. Got your trunk opener, large bottle holder. You can fit some big stuff, and even an umbrella back there because it goes all the way back. Pretty solid door slam. Definitely can't complain about that. And these light buttons are actually kind of unique. They're like, you see how they lit up when I got close to them? There's no dial or anything. It's just you can do this to toggle through your light settings, and then your all-weather lights right here. Here's our steering wheel. It is supposed to be 3-spoke because this is technically considered 1, but there is an opening right here if you like to stick your fingers through there. I really like the leather on this steering wheel. It feels nice. You've got these grips. It is a little bit of a firm steering wheel, which is, not a big deal, but it is comfortable to hold on to. My biggest gripe and my really only complaint on this interior is the click. And it's just, I don't know, it just seems to bug me more than anything else, but it's just sounds and feels kind of like a cheap click. But the materials here actually feel okay. It doesn't feel like super cheap plastic. I like the scrolling knobs that you got for your radio and for your information control. And this is a shortcut that you can customize on what that goes to. The cruise control stock is right there, plus your distance setting for your radar cruise. And we have paddle shifters up here and even rain sensing windshield wipers, which are pretty nice. The button to start it up is right here. Now Audi gives us 3 different ways you can look at this. Well, 3 main ways you can look at it, and they're all pretty similar. One is dynamic, which is a little bit different, but I've kept it like this, which is technically the sport way to look at it. Now Audi gives us a trip computer, as you can see right here. I'm going to kind of scroll through this. You can see a lot of information on here, like the driver assistance features is nice. You can customize the actual fuel and mile per gallon settings as well. You can see your music and even change channels with that. We've also got navigation on here. You can even scroll through and see like zoom in or way out like I am right here, which is pretty awesome. You can change the main view like this so that all that information is presented a little bit differently, and you still have your gauges on the side. So this digital cockpit is pretty cool. This is optional. This is a bigger one. This is a 12.3 inch digital cluster. Then as we move over to the right, you can kind of see how that is angled toward us. And then the rest, like that wood trim over there, is a little more angled toward the passenger. But Audi wanted something sleek here. They wanted this to be integrated into the dash. And you can see it kind of collects some fingerprints and some lint. But it looks worse on the camera than it does in person. And just a simple wipe can fix that. An 8.8-inch screen is standard, but we have this 10.1-inch screen with our Prestige package. It is seamlessly blended into the panel, which is what they wanted. You even have handwriting recognition. You have wireless Apple CarPlay as well. You still get Android Auto. We have a B&O system, which is 15 speakers, 680 watts. It's very, very responsive. I've had no troubles. One thing though is like with the radio, you don't actually like see like presets, which is kind of weird. I wish you could just see presets. You can scroll through a whole list of these channels, which is kind of cool. Otherwise, you can go back to shortcuts and make those your presets, but there's really a bunch of stuff you can change on here too. So like the digital cockpit or virtual cockpit, those are the three views, and they're all really similar except dynamic varies quite a bit, but sport and classic are so similar, and you can slightly configure those as well. Now the B&O system on here is really pretty loud. The biggest thing about it though is the bass. I mean, first of all, you can turn the bass up, but then you can also turn up how much you get out of that subwoofer, and this thing really booms in this small car. It is just powerful. Another cool feature, if you go to vehicle and then light and visibility, you can kind of see how much you can already customize, but you have an interior ambient lighting package, which is on the Plus model and this model. We can change the brightness in the different areas like the front, the doors, and then the colors, and you can scroll through a whole spectrum here from purple to blue, kind of greenish, green, yellow, orange, red, white, and it just looks really nice. It's a really welcoming, warm cabin, and you can turn that off too if you want and change the brightness, which is fantastic. And then on top of all that, with this big screen, I'm going to go ahead and put it in reverse. One, we have a backup camera, as you can see with dynamic lines. Plus, we have a top-down camera over here, and you can have that come on automatically or not. And we also have, with these settings here, like I said, you can have it automatic. You've got a front and rear parking sensor as well, and you can control that volume on here as well. So rear cross traffic assist as well. So I mean, you're protected and you got no trouble parking this small vehicle. Then right below that, we have our dual zone climate controls, technically 3-zone because we do have AC vents in the back. You've got your heated seat buttons, which are 3-tier. No ventilated seats on here, but I like the detail that they have, like the red and the blue lights on here. That is pretty cool. Easy to use buttons. I've had no troubles. There's a nice tactile click as well. Got kind of this plain area right here, and one thing I don't like is this location of this knob. That's the volume and seeking and power knob for the radio. I just never use it because it's just out of the way and kind of just, it's just not by the radio either, and it's just not by your hand. So then right down here we have our drive modes. Go ahead and hit that, and it'll scroll through an off-road mode, a comfort mode, automatic where it'll change it for you, dynamic for the sportiest driving, and then individual where you can customize that. Traction control, your auto stop start system, and this is quite aggressive. It does turn off quite a bit and really quickly. Parking sensors, you can turn those off or on. Your parking assist button, for parallel and perpendicular parking, it will steer for you. You just have to modulate the brake and the gas. And then your downhill control over here. Below those buttons, we've got a wireless charging mat and a signal booster for your cell phone on the Plus model and up. So it's standard on ours. It also works as a nice large storage bin. And then over here you've got a USB-A and USB-C. The shifter is nice. This is a leather wrapped boot. You can go down and just go down once for sport mode, or you can move over for manual shifting, and we'll go through that in the test drive. It does actually shift pretty well. We've got an electronic parking brake. There's no brake hold button in here, which I'm kind of surprised about. 12-volt power outlet. Bottle holder works great. I've had no troubles there. This little nook right here could maybe be for your key fob or maybe some coins. And then we've got a small skinny armrest, but it is soft and padded. It's all the way down. You can kind of ratchet it up if you want it to be higher for something to rest on. And then you've got a pretty small area right there, but really not too bad for the class. It's nice to see that Audi gives us a lock-in glove box. It softly opens, and it is felt lined and illuminated. Give you a look at that wood trim over there with the Quattro sign, and that even glows at night with the ambient lighting as well. Right up above, we have an automatic dimming mirror with a compass as well. We also have garage controls that you can program through your screen. That and the auto dimming mirror come on the Plus model. And then up above, we've got LED lighting. These are touch sensitive, which is pretty nice. No sunglass holder up here. But we have a sunglass holder right down there, and it's actually a decent sized bin and softly lined, or use it for some other storage. And then up above we also get a panoramic sunroof. And for this size of a vehicle, I guess we could call it panoramic, but it's really not as big as some. It doesn't quite go back all that far, but I mean, it is a pretty small vehicle and it's still nice to have. And that is standard on every model. Now getting into the back seat of the Audi Q3 is a breeze. I mean, it's a little bit of a duck down getting in here, but it's a good slide height to get in. And then once I'm back here, despite the exterior dimensions, there's actually pretty decent space in here. I've got good headroom right here. It's actually really generous. I'm super surprised by that. Hip room's not too bad. I wouldn't really probably want to sit next to another adult right here, but you've got comfortable seats. They're similar to what they are in the front. These seats can also recline a little bit, and they can slide forward and backwards. And with them all the way back, my knee room and foot room is good sitting behind myself. You've got a decent cutout and a hard back right here, so nobody's going to be kicking you as driver and passenger, plus mat pockets here as well. There is a pretty big hump in the middle, and my feet don't fit there. Children might be able to fit there, or smaller feet could probably be okay. We have AC vents back here, 2 USB ports, and a 12-volt power outlet. We also get a cup holder in the middle. However, the actual cup holders in here are just tiny, pretty much worthless. I don't even know if a little plastic bottle would fit in there, but at least you have an armrest. Right up above, we also have LED lights, always nice to see. And on the door, you got the same materials you do up front. It's not like a super hard touch up here, but it is not necessarily a comfortable area to rest your arm. Then you've got a bottle holder as well. One thing that we won't see in here, despite the price point, is heated rear seats. Plus, don't forget about the little storage cubbies that are right next to each outboard seat, where you could stash quite a few different things. Now, under the hood of this 2019 Q3, there are some improvements over last generation. There's only one engine option. It's a 2.0 liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. And while the power numbers aren't that good, they are improved over last generation. Power numbers here are 228 horsepower, 258 pound-feet of torque, which is 28 and 51 more respectively, with an 8-speed Tiptronic transmission. That is a torque-converted transmission. It is not a dual clutch, and we'll see how it drives in a little bit, but it honestly is still pretty quick. Since every Q3 comes with their Quattro all-wheel drive system with active torque distribution between each wheel, we've got miles per gallon of 19 city, 27 highway, and 22 combined. And in case you're wondering, 0 to 60 time in this Q3 is 7 seconds, which is respectable, and it's a fairly quick driving vehicle. Now let's get on that test drive. All right, everyone, thank you so much for sticking around for the test drive of the Audi Q3. Let's go ahead and get going. This is my favorite part. And my first impression of the Q3 is that it feels athletic. For being a little crossover and not having a lot of power or a whole lot of torque, it's still quick and fun to drive around. Daily driving this thing has been really easy. I mean, it's just an easy, simple to drive car. No problems at all. It's easy to park. It's nice to have that parking top-down view. No troubles at all with that. Acceleration is good. We're in a neighborhood, but once we get out of here, give you a little taste. I'm gonna put it in sport mode. We'll use the paddle shifters. I'll tell you how the ride is and all that. And right off the bat, the ride comfort, it does feel a little stiff. It's certainly not bad. It's not bad at all, really, but something to think about. It's on a little bit on the stiffer side, if I had to pick. Some of the big bumps can get in here. You do tend to feel everything. And we do have big wheels on here. That is something to think about. All of them have all-wheel drive, the Quattro all-wheel drive. And it just shut the car off and turn it back on. Right after this vehicle, we'll get going. And that was pedal down, and it gets you up to speed fairly quickly. It's not a burner for sure, and we're just in normal mode 2. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in dynamic mode right now. Just gonna let the car do its thing. A little bit of an uptick in the RPMs. Wow, see how it's holding those RPMs right there? That's impressive. So you can get on it again, and it's gonna be ready to go. It holds those RPMs. That is aggressive. That's really aggressive. The steering feel is nice. It's kind of got a heavier weight right now, especially in this dynamic mode. It's precise, it's direct, it's easy to handle, it's nimble. There's no guessing where you're going with it. The brakes on here are also quite responsive. I definitely enjoy those as well. If you had an emergency situation, I would not worry one bit with the brakes on this vehicle. A little bit more on the ride comfort. This road is fairly smooth. There are a few broken pieces of pavement, and you feel them. You kind of feel little bits of bumps and undulations in the road, but it's nothing intrusive. It doesn't get me upset or anything, and these seats are pretty comfortable for the most part, so you tend to do pretty well. This does come fully packed with all of the driver assist features as well. You've got your adaptive cruise control, your lane keeping systems, pretty much everything you need. It is a stop and go cruise as well. Let's put it in manual mode. Second gear, first gear, second. Get right up on people here. And those gears, it went through those pretty quick. And I've actually liked shifting with the shifter down here as well. We're in third gear. See how well we can corner. Not much body lean at all right here. You can really boogie around these corners. There we go. Downshift was fairly crisp. Upshifts, pretty good. So you can definitely have some fun in here. And that is not what this Q3 is about. That SQ5 that I drove not too long ago, that was fun. And that one is definitely meant for performance. And that is head and shoulders above this in terms of that. But just wanted to give you a little bit of a quick look at how it felt and how it could do. And it corners well. It's got a nice suspension. It's a redesigned suspension. The steering feel is good. It's a little bit lighter now. The one thing though is the engine's a little laggy in comfort mode. Kind of like an eco mode, you know, just a casual driving experience. But overall, it's pretty good. Now, one complaint that I have is for the NVH, noise, vibration, and harshness. There's more road noise than I expected in here. It's not terrible, you know, in this entry-level luxury class, you just never really know what to expect. But the wind noise, there's definitely more wind noise in here than I was expecting, especially coming through this like A and B pillar. The windows aren't laminated, and that's probably a big part of it. And I'm gonna give you a little bit of an example of that road noise on this road right here. It's got a little bit of a rock texture to it, a little bit of a rougher surface. Now that we're up to speed, you can probably hear some of that. And I honestly still hear a little bit more wind noise, even though we're only going 45 right now, 45, 50. The road noise isn't bad enough to where I wouldn't buy the vehicle. I just thought it would be a little bit less, considering it's a luxury vehicle and an Audi. But it's whatever, you know, these smaller vehicles aren't known for that. And I'm sure most of you, it'll be just fine. But really, when it comes down to it, driving this Audi every day is pretty fun. It's a nice vehicle to drive. It's quite practical, honestly, and there's just a lot that there's a lot to like about it. I'm a little surprised that we are missing a couple features, but still, it's a simple design layout. It takes a little bit of getting used to with everything in here. It's definitely different than most vehicles, especially the non-luxury brands with these big screens and some of the buttons that you got with it, but it's pretty nice. And if you want to see a night view, a night drive, and kind of the interior exterior lightings, be sure to check that out. I'll put a link to that in the description below. Now, in conclusion, with the 2019 Audi Q3, it's a pretty impressive little vehicle. It drives really well compared to that Lexus and the Cadillac that I recently had in this class. It drives better than those. It's still pretty practical. It's got a nice interior. It's bigger than it was before. Not a lot to complain about. A few things that I wish they would have added on the inside, but overall, what do you think? Leave your comments down below. Subscribe for more videos just like this. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day.